Hello and welcome to the second look from the Anfield wrap after Liverpool have beaten Cardiff City to go back top of the Premier League again with only 3 to play at the end of April. It's Tuesday, it's 2 days after the game. It was a bank holiday yesterday, which is why we're slightly late with this one, but we're still absolutely buzzing about the game, aren't we, lads? I am Dan Austin, Rob Gutmann is with me, Kev Walsh is with me. Rob, you went the other day, I did as well.
Yeah.
It was another superb victory under very difficult circumstances. Cardiff played well for the first 45, Liverpool weren't necessarily at the races. The Reds have faced loads of different kinds of tough challenges lately. A couple of hard home games against Tottenham and Chelsea. Very difficult away legs at Porto and Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Fulham, where they had to score a winning goal with only 10 minutes left. All these really, varied types of difficult football matches, and they just keep passing them all superbly.
Yeah, but you know what? As a fan, it's quite difficult to process because all our business is getting done in second halves, which means that every game I'm going to, I'm having a bad half time. Well, not every single one, but a number. I'm having some anxieties at half time.
But what a second half you're having afterwards.
No, I'm coming out of grounds buzzing. It's the opposite of what City are going through. Their margins of victory their wins are no more conclusive than ours, but they've got them done in the first 10. Yeah. So what their versions of this are coming out and goes, we got it done early and we were very professional and we saw it out. And I thought, yeah, and you went home dead miserable and wondering what else had happened. Ours are ending more happily. But I am also coming out and thinking, is this meant to happen this way, that we leave it? No, we're not leaving it so late, but it was all happening in the second half. And I kind of, no, I don't, this sounds almost critical, it's just a bit mad to talk about it. There's a small part of me that misses being that Brendan Rodgers side that was also a City side, and also old Jurgen Klopp side where we did do it in the first 10 minutes. But then we always used to moan about how we'd let teams back into it. Yeah. So I think on balance we'll take this team.
But Kev, I love that we're doing it this way because partly it shows loads about the character and self-belief in the football team. I think that they're able to go, you know what, we've had a tough opening 30 there, but we're dead good and we're better than the opposition and this will just be fine. We'll get in at half-time, we'll do whatever we need to do tactically or that we need to have a chat about to improve, and we'll come back out and we'll just be better than these. They did it against Cardiff, they did it against Chelsea, they did it in Porto the other night. I think it's a testament to who they are as human beings as well as footballers that they're able to do that, but also it just makes it a massive laugh for us.
Well, I imagine it's a massive laugh for us, we know it is, but I imagine it's an absolute nightmare to play against. Them Cardiff lads the other day must have been running around thinking, this pitch is as bad for us as it is for you, but it's actually giving us an advantage. But no one deep down, that fella who had sent on toast 3 or 4 times is done now and we haven't scored off that. Liverpool are just going to turn it on. And at half time, I had a little look through Twitter and I thought, oh my God, our fan base are an absolute gang of wet wipes, honestly. So many people are throwing a towel because it was 0-0. I just thought, and I seen one fella put, what are you all crying for? You know, it's going to end up 3-0. And I thought, you know what, it's so true.
That guy.
Yeah, but you know, it's so true. All we do is we just turn it on, keep the pressure on them, put the foot on the gas, and as soon as we do, when we step up that gear, there's no team in the league that can live for us. So we just pass it forward. What I'd say for me and what gives me an enormous sense of well-being about it is the fact that we do that now, and we've done it over the course of a season. Feels to me like it's set up to happen over the course of the next 5 seasons. It's not a flash in the pan at all.
I think the teams are when I'm trying to be logical and not paranoid in the middle of it, what you can see is I think teams are setting themselves up to compete with us early on. With City, they're setting themselves up to be dense and not penetrable. With us, they're scared of the power of the press and I don't know, and the way we were playing last season, you can see nobody wants to be poor Roma. Nobody wants to be that team blown away 5-0 in 50 minutes. So they set themselves out to be a mini version of us. And I've watched obscenely hard teams are working against us. And even though we're not scoring first half, so I am saying to myself, they are going to blow themselves out. Southampton was the classic example recently. Look how fast they started. They were pressing us all over, hunting us down in packs. You're more Liverpool than Liverpool lads, except Liverpool can do this for longer than you. So watch what will happen. And I suppose the other thing is we are missing chances in first halves. Yeah. I didn't. If I said at half time, you pick me up off the floor of sort of anxiety. I'd have gone, well, we didn't make a chance at half. And I watch it back on Match of the Day later. Firmino's got one of the easiest chances he'll ever get. Yeah. Salah's one-on-one. Mane gets one come across him. There's loads going on.
Kev, we did miss them 3 chances and they all felt huge. I think because it was one of the front 3 missing each of them. So if it was, Firmino had missed 3, you'd be like, oh, all right, well, it's not happening for him today, but you just got to wait for one of the others. Did the fact that each of the 3 of them had missed one, and we had a difficult first half because, Cardiff were playing basically 6-3-1 at times defensively, and they had Mendes landing on the break who was doing all right, Hoylett's always dangerous. But did the kind of circumstances of those 3 all missing make you have a bit of a wobble at half time? Did you wonder whether it was happening for us, or were you totally backing them?
I was totally backing them, but I'm a Liverpool fan, and because we've been through so many disappointments and through so many years of, even when we, as you referenced before, when we were blowing teams away, we were still, like Seville last year when we were 3-0 up at half time and we threw it away. And countless other games where we've been 3-0 up and going into the last 10 minutes we were worried. I think we've set our mindset now that, oh my God, we're jinxed for it not to happen. So we need it to happen and then we can all be free of that. But this team's just so logical to me. Honestly, I just look at them and think, Virgil van Dijk does not lose his head at half time. It doesn't happen. Jordan Henderson does not lose his head at half time. Bobby F misses that chance, and you just know full well he doesn't. By the time he's in a position for them to take the goal kick, he's not even thinking about it. It's already gone from his mind because the total consummate ice cold killers. I just honestly, I believe we're going to win the game every single minute up until it's finished. Look what we did to Everton, look what we did to Tottenham. These are teams that we shouldn't be doing that against, last minute winners from mad situations. How did Pickford decide to keep that ball in? Because it was in his head that Liverpool don't stop. How did Hugo Lloris not just catch that ball that Salah puts back in? He doesn't, because Liverpool have worn him down and worn him down and worn him down. And when you're talking about a team like Cardiff, no disrespect to them, but they're not as good as Everton, and Everton are terrible. Do you know what I mean? So,
not quite sure how we've managed to get an Everton a shite drive into the Cardiff City second look, but I'm not complaining about it.
If anyone can, it's me. But honestly, imagine, as I say, it must be horrible to play against. Looking around and just thinking, for fuck, I just wish they'd just stop for 1 minute. And the second you have that little hand on your hips, that's when they pass you and that's when we score. And I think we can do it to anybody, including Barcelona.
And Manchester City also think, Rob, I wish they'd just fucking stop. But they don't. Liverpool are going nowhere. They came flying out for that second half. Forced a few chances. Man, I had that one curling in from the away end, looked like it was going in and then didn't. Eventually they make the corner, and what I really loved about being in the away end for that corner was Trent delivers it and the whole end goes, because they think it's a crap one. They're just going to get booted away at the near post, and then suddenly as soon as we finish saying, it's in the net, because Gini Wijnaldum lashed it in. And I think, again, it's such a surefire sign of the brilliant mentality of those footballers that they decide, right, and I think they probably knew this before kick-off, not just depending on how the first half went, but they knew, right, as soon as we come out for the second half, that's where the foot goes on the throat. That's where we win the game. That's where we make these realise, hang on, we can't be going forward that much here. We've got to worry about these. And they got the goal in that period, and suddenly it just felt like a really big relief.
Yeah, you get the impression when you listen to some of Klopp's stuff back after the games that they're all viewing the first half as information gathering as much as trying to win a football match. And he referenced the players working out for themselves that just trying to hang one under the bar wasn't going to work when they got big grocks like Morrison. And they do what they used to call the Sheringham corner, which is whipped in for a reverse pass finish, really, from Wijnaldum. That's to understate what a crisp volley that was. But yeah, it was coming. It was coming as a state of pressure, and it's one of those goals. It's nice to see Gini's celebration, because I think that's kind of been my celebration wherever I've been. Not as handsome and elegantly. I'm not having that, Rob. No. I was away on holiday last week for the Chelsea game, and I missed out at Anfield. But I was in a bar. Me and my two lads, the only Reds in the bar, full of like various sort of Prem half-interested fans who were cheering everything that Liverpool weren't doing. And I did a knee slide. I attempted one, but they locked. And gave it all that. And my lads will go, that's what Wijnaldum did. I think, good, that'll do for me.
It's just all the nervous energy leaving your body. The likes of Wijnaldum's done it. Henderson, when he scored against Southampton, done exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Then players seem to be having the same emotional state when they score as we're having in the ground, and I think that says a lot about how much they want it and how much they realise that, listen, they're a matter of weeks away now from becoming legends. Obviously it's not all in our own hands, but that pressure, as you said before, Dan, we're not going away. They must be thinking, for fuck's sake, 0-0 at half time against Cardiff after we've just beat Tottenham and basically they limped past them. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't a great showing at all, and I think if they would have thought, well, if we've done that and it's in their head now, well, maybe that was the most chance they had for losing points. And then Liverpool come out and do exactly what we've done all season. As you said, information gathering first half. The fact that the players worked out that corner routine on their own, how good is that, you know what I mean? And then we go on and make it another one. City have got, listen, it's a massive week now. City have got 2 games coming up. But the pressure that they're under, not through any of their own doing, just through us, is enormous.
These are teams playing under pressure. Liverpool are doing it, and they may look serene at times when they're navigating it, but that's only more credit to them because they are playing under pressure. You said Firmino and co got on with those misses, but I saw on the telly back in the evening Firmino's face after that miss in the first half. He wasn't this I'm the happy-go-lucky Bobby anymore. There's a loss of innocence now. They want this badly. And you watch him, who is again the most easygoing, he comes across the most easygoing, so watch his reaction with Wijnaldum. He's holding Wijnaldum like I'm holding my lads after go, like, make it safe, Ginny, you've made it safe. He wants to cry, he's so happy and relieved, crucially.
Right, we'll be back in a second to talk more about Gini Wijnaldum, also Jordan Henderson and the centre-halves, but for now we're going to cross to Neil Atkinson, who as usual has had a look with his tactics board at how both teams set up and how the game played out. So here's Neil.
What comes first, the chicken or the egg? What we've got here is the second half average positions sort of sensibled out in terms of when people have moved around the pitch of the two sides. Liverpool much more advanced, much higher up the pitch, much more in the half of Cardiff City and much more aggressive in doing so. But what's really interesting about the average positions is how narrow everybody is. Everyone really is right inside. There's Mendes-Lang, there's Alexander-Arnold, here's Robertson. In terms of their average position where they were involved in the game, it's probably the narrowest Liverpool's fullbacks have been. It's also, in a sense, the deepest they've been for a while, neither well beyond the halfway line, which is what we're used to seeing. Two centre-backs back here, and this interesting little sort of pack of footballers around this side of the pitch in the second half. It seems as though, yet again, understandably, Cardiff chose to target Liverpool down that side. That makes sense to us. I mean, you've got to pick somewhere. This isn't some sort of conversation about Matip being weak or Trent being weak. I don't think Trent had a particularly good game, but it doesn't mean that he was weak in any way, shape or form other than when he was caught out for pace early in the first half. Instead, it's about you've got to pick somewhere. So you pick here because you don't want to pick Van Dijk, you don't want to pick Robertson. So there's an element of that. And then there's an element of, right, what's the next thing you do where you get people around, you get bodies around. The interesting one for Liverpool is there's Mane, there's Keita, there's Robertson. That means that one's Firmino. Firmino deeper than normal, like the manager said. More through the middle of the pitch. That's more pronounced in the second half as well. Often Liverpool's average position's almost like this space through the middle, whereas Firmino was occupying that. And you think he's occupying that to be available for all of this, all of these little bits here. Henderson right in the thick of it in that second 45. As I say, you've got Wijnaldum who ends up there after Fabinho comes on and back off again. Keita/Milner over here. This sort of zone. Mane further up. This is the back four of Cardiff in terms of the average position where they got involved. It is narrower than the width of the 18-yard box, which is absolutely fascinating. It looks as though they came right the way in. Peltier came right the way in with Mane in order to not give him any time or space. There's a point here, and it's that Neil Warnock's not daft. He's not soft. Never has been and never will be. We can laugh at him all we want, but he's a very, very astute man when it comes to setting up a side in a defensive way. So what he's done is he's looked to make the pitch as absolutely tiny as possible. It didn't work, or maybe it did. 2-0's not so bad for Neil Warnock at the end of the game, but Liverpool won. Liverpool go marching on.
Thanks very much to Neil for that. And Kev, I want to stick with Wijnaldum for a minute because I thought it was really interesting how he got the goal, because I didn't think he was playing that well really before that. And he's been, criticised before for not necessarily doing it in away games, not doing it in big games under pressure. But to me, you saw how much it meant to him in the celebration. All of them, obviously, but especially him. He seems like the perfect example of a player now for Liverpool who, once it's got serious, he's taken more responsibility. So he hadn't had that good a game coming into it, but they work out that routine. He lashes it in like his life depends on it. It's a team full of brilliant human beings, not just footballers. It's resilient characters. It's people who want this as much as we want it.
Yeah, I think with Gini, the thing with sometimes he's going to struggle for the fact of the player that he is. So he's a midfielder that does all of the midfield work, but allows all of the players around him to do their own work to a next degree up. So Gini can sometimes look as though he's not affecting the game as much, but I think he's always affecting it. I think sometimes he gets a little bit of undue stick. His role in that team is not just to free everyone else, but it's to ruin the other team's day. So no matter where the ball is, no matter what needs to be done, Gini's there to do it. And as you say, him taking the responsibility on, I think people were sort of not criticising him, but maybe questioning whether his legs had gone a little bit earlier on in the season. But as you said there, it's coming to a serious part of the season and he has stepped up to the level like you couldn't argue with.
Rob, Jordan Henderson misses a glorious chance to make it 2. He seems to always miss those cutbacks. He always scars them. It's just something in his play he can never quite get right. There was a great shot of the Gutmann trio in the away end reacting to the miss. But I thought he was great the other day, and since he's moved to that advanced role, I think he just constantly keeps us from foot. He sets the tone for an awful lot of what we're doing, and I think he'll be crucial between now and the end of the campaign.
Yeah, I don't think it's too strong to say he's been a revelation in that role. I think we're getting back, although I think he's done a very solid job as a 6 over the last couple of years, I think we're getting back the player that he was moving towards in the last title challenge, 13-14, and he gets an injury in 14-15 in Brendan's last season, and he's not quite the same player for a good 18 months afterwards. And I feel it almost became a Lucas job to bring him back, but his legs, his engine, and he's not even that old, are still there. And I think he's reborn. I agree with you. I think he sets our tempo. He's able to sort of drift between the lines a bit. Not exactly a number 10, but almost like a slightly tucked in Beckham at times, and he can whip a ball in. It's a shame he misses. He leans back as he thinks he's got to avoid the players on the line, but it's just too far back. It's such a shame, because I think if we get that goal then I think it's probably a 4-0, and then I think it's more than just a professional win. It's a real marker win.
Morrison's miss is insane, frankly, Kev. To me, all of the laws of physics and forces and everything I got taught in secondary school mean that had to go in the net.
Are we talking the header one?
Yes.
Not the header, the one off his back.
Yeah, well, the one that should have been a header, but like someone stopped time and moved it and put it on his back. It seems to me that science can't stop Liverpool now.
not even science can do it. Well, there's been rumours that the referee was going to blow for the foul on Alisson, which I personally think it was. He started to come out for it, and the lads on the line, was it Gunnarsson, was he? As sort of just moved him around, not necessarily dragged him, but moved him around. But yeah, even with all of that being said, how he somehow misses his big massive bull bed and hits him on the back, I've got no idea.
It's like the Zapruder film in the Kennedy assassination, where conspiracy theorists say there's missing frames. There's definitely missing. Something's over there where a big eagle swooped down, hit it and deflected it onto his back. That's been cut out.
Well, talking about conspiracies, Rob, I mentioned this briefly on Talking Red this morning, but somehow Manchester City fans are saying it was a dive and wasn't a penalty, and also Morrison deliberately fouled him because he wants Liverpool to win the league because he's a Liverpool fan. So it somehow simultaneously definitely wasn't a pen and definitely was a pen because of cheating, somehow, which is mad. But it clearly was a pen, wasn't it? We're not going to debate that. We all know that it was. Again, it feels like one of these bizarre sets of circumstances where everything's just coming together for you, that James Milner was even on the pitch, because he shouldn't be. Fabinho comes on, headbutts someone, has to go off immediately, Milner gets on. It's just absolutely superb to look at a footballer, put the ball on the penalty spot and go, we're 2-0 up. He scored this, it doesn't matter. He's this character, he's this man, he's this cog in the machine of us winning the league. This is what he's here for. That's why he's on the pitch. I've got no concerns about this.
No, I love what a guy James Milner is. I even like the fact that he had a prepared celebration.
Yeah.
Simultaneously the worst and best celebration I think I've ever seen. He actually knocks one of... we're going for a title, but he wants to have his moment. He knocks one of them away, so I'm going to do that shite old man celebration. It's so crap. All the foreign lads have got these cool moves going on, and he does the most Brexity, unfunny celebration.
He's doing that while Firmino's doing a karate kick.
Yeah, exactly. Moves, and he's doing that. I know it's self-deprecating. It was quite funny. But it almost shows that he was ready. He's ready to claim his moment. I think the only person in the ground who wasn't absolutely thrilled was, actually, there's another conspiracy theory, Mo Salah. He's about gutted. Now, of course, Salah wants to take the penalty, but people have made such a deal out of that, haven't they? There always has to be a negative deal with it. And I know it's a risk. All fans are paranoid.
That's what sells, isn't it? Salah might want to finish top goal scorer, and that's fine, but he understands that there's a hierarchy if he takes the penalties, and he's not number one. So he gives it up relatively easily in the end, I think.
Yeah, he's not punching his pillow in the middle of the night, going, why? No, everyone wants everything to happen. But it's funny, actually, I was thinking about it with titles. Everyone does need a story. They need the slip. They need the bottle. They need the heroism. There has to be these subplots around them. It's just funny that they're choosing us for all the subplots. City are getting none of them, are they? It feels like that.
City are boring, that's why.
They're having none of the fun, and I think that's a big thing. You know, Milner scores that penalty. The let-off in the away end is incredible, and the celebration at full time, and we're all doing the new, we're going to Madrid song. And they're as into it as we are. They come over and they're all fist pumps and they're all beating the chest and they're as excited as we are. And no one else does it quite like that. I know that we always say that about things, but it is true. Our ends, the way we're doing this challenge, is not like they're doing it.
No, well, that's 100% right. And I think that's what's feeding the players on. As you say, they come over every game now. They're always giving the shirts to kids and all that, aren't they? It feels like one big family, and we're all pulling in the same direction. And it's for the first time in my lifetime, I think, that the club is actually like that. Even 13-14, there was players you go, how's he? Alisson Sissoko and players like that. Players who are garbage, whereas now you look at every single one of them, you think I'd go to war with every single one of you. They probably look at our end and think, yeah, I'd go to war with them lunatics as well.
Rob, I thought the two centre-halves passed their test superbly as well, because, you know, we talk about it being a difficult game from an offensive sense. They're having a number of set pieces and they had a few breaks in the first half. It was a tough game from a defensive point of view, and I've got some statistics on them. First of all, Matip got given man of the match, and I think, you know, we had a number of good performances, but I think it's perfectly justified that it was given to him. I thought he did really well. He touched the ball more than any other player on the pitch, which shows his level of influence. He did.
Wow.
Virgil van Dijk won 12 aerial duels. 12. 12 times he went up with some big fucking groch of theirs and just...
It must be so dispiriting to play against.
Do you know what I noticed Van Dijk? I mean, I know it's an obvious one, but just a little thing in the middle of the game. A ball gets knocked along, another mortar coming down. And you go, normally, every centre-half you've ever seen, you knock it back where it came from and hope it's a half-decent one. He doesn't. Even with a man like 6 yards on my chest, down, wait, boom.
I noticed that one. Unbelievable.
It's incredible,
Absolutely
the composure of the pair of them, I thought was superb. And again, you know, their crowd's up for it. They had a big result in the week. They wanted set pieces, they wanted stress, they wanted Liverpool to panic. And the two of them, as calm as you like, as calm as
to be fair, I've given Matip absolutely loads of stick, and like, he's proven me wrong. I can hold my hands up and say that his performance for the second half of the season has been, he hasn't put a foot wrong, so fair play to him. And I was always one that said, listen, they give him a lot of the ball because they don't trust him to use it. But he used it perfectly the other day. He was, even when he was stepping out into the midfield, which drives me mad normally, he looked composed doing it, and he looked like he was going to find the Liverpool shirt. And listen, I thought that was probably his best game for Liverpool, and fair play to him, long may it continue.
Quickly, just before we go, Rob, I want to talk about Keita, because I thought he was really good again in an understated way. He kept it ticking. He kept Aaron Gunnarsson really occupied. It was the deepest of their midfielders. He also made 5 tackles, which again is the most of any player on the pitch, and he's consistently at the top of that statistic now. I think the last 3 games I've spoken about him on here, he's had the most tackles of anyone. It shows to me that he's now settled into the speed, the intensity, the aggression of the league, but also his role in the team.
Yeah, and I think the stats will show he's leading our press more than anyone else. Even in games where he's got some stick, I've sort of pointed out, because I've defended him because I rate him, I watched him quite a bit before we got him. His stats in putting pressure on people, pressing, you can see, the reason they bought him was for the fact that he gives you a bit of everything in midfield. He's a little bit N'Golo Kante at the back, although I don't think we've seen the best of that aspect. He's a little bit Adam Lallana, front foot, closing people down. And then he's also got this change of gears through midfield where he can just lift his head up, run past a couple of men and open the game up. And then to cap it all, he's got a nice little weighted pass through that can slice through a defence. I think there's a huge amount more to come.
Right, 3 more to go. Liverpool should win them all. If Liverpool win them all, are they champions? Yes or no?
Yes.
Rob?
Yeah, I think so.
There you go. And they're the best team left in the European Cup as well. So it's a league and European Cup double. I think we've settled on there at the end.
Easy as.
That'd be swell.
I hope you've got yourself an absolutely berserk Friday night planned, to be honest. I can't wait to be in and around the ground Friday night. It's going to be incredible.
Post-Wednesday dependent.
It's still going to be brilliant. It's still going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
It will be incredible if they've dropped points. But either way, we're going to have a brilliant time. If you don't already, make sure to subscribe to the Anfield app. There's already stuff looking back on the Tour Play service at the Cardiff game. If you're looking for more of that, there'll be loads of preview in Huddersfield as well. Live stuff from Barcelona next week as well, because I mean, we have got a semi-final, which we all seem to forget about. But yeah, it's the best time to get on board with all that sort of stuff. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Thank you from me, thank you from Rob, and thank you from Kev. Enjoy your week. Dream about the double. That's all that's left now. All the best and up the Reds.